What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip from Team D.D.D, back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to have my combo video on the new Invoked Shaddolls list. People have actually asked for this. I was going to recommend the last one, the last combo video I've seen, but people wanted to see with this version. I don't know if it's... the only thing really changed from my last one is the non-engine. Other than that, nothing else has really changed. But people want to see it, so people ask for it. People ask for it, so people shall receive it. But if you haven't already seen the profile, I'll probably put it down in the description down below. While you're down there checking out the video, if you don't mind, please check out all the links that I have provided down below as well, being my Discord if you want to become closer to the D.D.D fam, my Patreon. Go check out all the different levels of my Patreon I provide. Appreciate you for it. And my affiliate link is down there as well for TCG Player. Go buy your cards with zero extra charge for you. Just gives the channel and myself a kickback a little bit for basically giving you a quick link to the site. But without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into combo number one. All right, combo number one. We're going to do a couple test hands. If we don't end up drawing the 2-card combo or whatever, I will just do that at the end. Also, at the end, I'm probably just going to show replay the 1-card combo to play around Tempai played around Tempai. If they heatwave you, I'll show you guys. If you didn't watch it at the end of the channel, I'll show it for you there. But let's go ahead and get into this. Test hand number one. Should probably is actually a very good hand. This hand doesn't really care about draw. It's very solid going first or going second. Remind you, all of our hands are going to be. We're going to play our combos as if our opponent doesn't have any interruptions. I would start out with Meltdown. Go and get your Alistair. Okay. Now right here, you're obviously going to lead with Alistair, but before I do so, I'm going to talk about if they had like an Imperm or Veiler, you have the Shaddoll fusion to make your window to dodge the targeting effects, so your Alistair would still resolve. Fun fact, but like I said, we're going to play this as if our opponent doesn't have any interruptions. So we're going to start out with our normal summon of the best boy effect. They don't have nothing, so then we can just save our El Shaddoll. Okay. Now we'll link it away for our Moon Maiden because it's a level 4 or lower spellcaster. It gives us access to a light. It's all she's there for. We don't use her for effects or anything like that. She's just there for a light target. Now we can go Shaddoll fusion, take the Windy and the Artemis to make the construct. Now here is where you have to make sure you chain link properly. If you don't chain link properly, you'll get severely punished for it. You'll get severely punished. When Meltdown is live, the last thing that needs to resolve is a fusion monster in order to protect your entire chain links. So the last thing to resolve means this needs to be chain link 1. Because if you make it chain link 3 or 2 or whatever, if whatever your chain links are, if it's not it won't be the last thing that resolves, since this is an on summon effect. So in order to protect your stuff being ashed or any kind of interruptions or anything, construct or any other your fusions have to be it has to be chain link 1 because it has to be the last thing to resolve. So in this case, we're gonna go chain link 1, chain link 2 because we don't have any other chains. Windy will special summon directly from the deck, and construct will foolish. This deck does very well to in the form of like being able to out-resource your opponent. So you need to be able to out-resource your opponent as fast as possible. And you also gotta get the level 5 out of the deck anyway. So we're gonna get the Beast set. A lot of people argue that you should probably get Hedgehog. So if they flip you get access to Shaddoll Fusion. That's fine, but like this could potentially draw Shaddoll Fusion or something else. So like your Cartesia or something like that, or your Nadir Servant or something. Because we're pretty gassed out to where we don't really need Shaddoll's Fusion that much, because we have an L in Graveyard and we have attributes in rotation along with names like this basically. So we have, if we worst case scenario, we can get access to it, because like the regular Shaddoll Fusion is only really impactful when we're going second, or we're trying to push through a board or whatever. But now we're going to foolish the obvious off of Construct, and that's the Schism. Which, if you couldn't already tell why I put Construct in the EMZ zone, is because you need to be able to link it off to get it in Graveyard. For the card that I mentioned in the deck profile, that is just 2 mandatory, and that's Gravity Controller. Now that Construct's in the graveyard, you can target this is our graveyard, by the way. You can target a Shaddoll spell or trap and add it back, so you can target this or this if you want to. If you're trying to play around Crow or Bell or something, you could grab this. But they actually, ironically, cannot Ghost Spell you when Meltdown is live. The reason why is because Ghost Spell actually negates the activation of like whatever you're trying to leave the graveyard or whatever. So like this says your stuff that would fusion summon cannot be the activation cannot be negated. For fusion summon. So your Meltdown actually plays around Ghost Spell. Fun fact. So remember that. But we're just going to go ahead and add the Schism because it gives us access to an app clone if we need it, or window or whatever, because you don't always have to go window. Now what we can do is go. Typically, I would like to try to make Kaliga, but if you do that, you won't have access to a dark without burning your Beast, and I don't want to do that, so we're going to go Macabre because we have an extra Alistair in hand. So we're going to go Invocation, Banish. I always like to try to put everything in defense position. You never know who's main decking Lightning Storm, and also Tempai is a deck. Put this here. Obviously, you can't put this in defense position, but like you're going to fuse that away, so it's not going to matter. Invocation's effect on graveyard to shuffle it back to the top. Shuffle back into the deck to add back the banished Alistair from your banished pile to your hand. Okay. Now, what we will do is set. We have 2 Alistairs in hand, and then we will set the Poly and the Schism, and then pass it on over to you. This combo right here was basically Invoked Shaddoll's bread and butter. It's what it's been since basically 2020. But it's still a good inboard nonetheless, and could have played through a lot because like they couldn't have ashed us because of Meltdown. If they were going to ash us, they had to ash this to adding, but even if they did, we had a second copy in hand already. They couldn't ash the Windy or the Construct because we made Construct mandatory chain link 1, and Meltdown says they cannot activate any, they cannot respond to any your fusion summons, and since it's in the window of on summon effect like the Construct is, they can't respond to anything. So even if like, that's why it's like this plus Shaddoll Fusion going second is so busted, because you just make app clone or whatever you want, you can send like 2 names, and then so like you can get 3 chain links that are protected. So yeah, but that's basically combo number 1, bread and butter combo. Let's go ahead and get into combo number 2, and hopefully we draw something that's besides the bread and butter, so you all can see a little bit of the Cartesia stuff too. All right, here we are at combo number 2. Just gonna get it shuffled up, and let's get this going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This hand's actually really broken. Start out with Meltdown, bait for hand traps. Add the Alistair. Now, when you're in a predicament like this, you don't typically want to start with Alistair. Like I mentioned in my profile, you only want to lead with Alistair as your normal summon if you open the Shadow's Light, because if they stop your Alistair with an Imperm and you don't have like an L or a Shaddoll's Fusion or something else that continue, or Shadow's Light, then you're just basically a sitting duck and you just lose. So you want to start with Cartesia, because if they Imperm or Veiler this, you still get to play on their turn. But if they Veiler it, we have this. We'll go Effect. Use these two. Now, a lot of people here would probably make Construct, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But you actually want to make the Grangadon. The reason why is because it gives you... I always put it in the MZ zone because you never know if you're going to need to link it off. Because this will give you exactly what Construct will give you, but it's also in the form of like being like an Nadir Servant by sending something from the extra deck, but also giving you more interaction on your opponent's turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Chainlink 1, since this is a fusion summon, it's protected by Meltdown. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Squamata. Okay, so now what we'll do is we can Foolish. What I would Foolish here off of the Squamata is the thinking. Yeah, I would Foolish the Hedgehog off of the Squamata. And then I would send the best Shaddoll a fusion monster. This is our graveyard, by the way. Off of this. Now what we'll do is I would go Chainlink 1, App Clone, Chainlink 2, Hedgehog. The reason why I sent Hedgehog instead of like Windy or something is because I didn't want to filter out my hand with App Clone more, and I wanted to get a good discard, while also filtering out the deck and getting another dark in the graveyard for Schism if necessary. So we're using Chainlink 1, the App Clone, Chainlink 2, Hedgehog. Hedgehog will add us the Windy. Now the App Clone will resolve to add us the Schism. Granted, here they could interrupt this chain link at all. They could interrupt this chain link because it's not protected, because it's not a fusion summon. So it's not protected by Meltdown. So it's a live open game state basically. So now what I would do is I would pitch the, because you have to pitch something at the end of App's effect. So we pitch the Windy. Windy effect will set whatever we need from deck, but I like out resourcing my opponent, so the Beast is really good. Play around things like evenly matched and stuff. I like to get this in the graveyard just so I play around it, so I'm not forced to make a decision to keep it or Schism, because it can activate from field or graveyard. So, and you never know what the hell you're going to play against at a bigger event or whatever. People are random sometimes and main deck those cards. So, but because I've had it come up before. So now we'll go effect, summon, effect, search. Fun fact, you can search the Fleur-de-Lis, or you could even search the Quim, but Quim's kind of dead right here. Now, what we will do is set the call by, since we didn't use it. Let me get my hand out of the way here. Set the Schism, so we didn't, because we didn't use it. Now, what we can do is in phase. In phase Cartesia's effect. Since a fusion was sent to the graveyard, we can add it back to our hand. And this is our hand. What this interaction gives us is a couple of different things. It gives us a negate off the Fleur-de-Lis. Banish something from graveyard with the called by. A Winda or an App Clone or a Construct off of Schism. So all three of our fusions if necessary. Then when they summon a monster off of a monster effect, we can banish this. from the extra deck for cost. So it plays around Ghost Spell to summon either the Lulu Walleth from the extra deck or the Guiding Quim from the main deck. Now, the difference in, like, if you need a fusion summon again, you'd go the Guiding Quim. If you want to negate something on board, monster, spell, or trap, non-targeting, you'd make the Quim. Because, and this will, if they out this, then this will turn into this during the end phase regardless, or a Cartesia, basically. So, it just basically boils down to you have to read the matchup and figure out what you want to go into. Now, what was I going to say? Like, yeah, but yes, as I was saying, if you need negates and stuff, then this is the way to go, because this can non-target turn something off and it can buff all your stuff. But if, like I said, if you need a Foolish, and you would go here, bring out her, and then it'll Foolish her. Then if something leaves the grave extra deck, you can summon and then fuse. But I feel like that's in this situation with what all you have, it's kind of a bit win more. So I would just go the Lulu Walleth. So it will punish them if they summon something from the extra deck. And then just negate it. And then, I mean, besides, this card will also help you push for game on the crackback too, because if something leaves the extra deck, this buff is permanent. So everything on your field will gain 500 attack points permanently. The negate's not permanent, but the buff is. So this will go to 2 grand. This will go to 2 grand. And then if you summon the Fleur-de-Lis, you can just keep, you can buff them with this. So, yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. But that's basically it for combo number 2. Let's go and get in combo number 3. If I don't draw the Shadows Light, then I'll just show you guys on combo number 4, the Shadows Light stuff. But let's go ahead and to get into combo number 4. All right, guys, here we are, combo number 4. Test 10 number 4. Let's see what we get. That. All right. This hand actually, it might look really crappy, but it's actually not that bad because we have a Called by the Grave. If we didn't have the Called by the Grave, then we'd be in hurting. Let me guide you through this hand real quick. So you go Foolish Burial. Foolishing the, where's he at? Maybe if I can find him. Always the last card, why not? We'll Foolish the Hedgehog. Hedgehog's effect. We'll add the Squamata. And if you see the line, then there you go. You see the line. Shout outs to you. Normal summon the Squamata. Shadows Light target. And as I said in my profile, Shadows Light targets a monster on the field. And then you can special summon a monster from your main deck or extra deck. Well, target a dark monster on the field. And then special summon a light monster from your extra deck or main deck that is the same level but is and type but a light monster. So since this is a dark level 4 spellcaster, we use Shadows Light into a light level 4 spellcaster. And here we didn't go Quim because we don't have nothing to really get into the graveyard. We'll summon something from the extra deck without like getting rid of our Squamata, and we don't want to do that in order to revive the the Cartesia. So we just go hard Cartesia on this route. Now what we can do is effect. Again, you could make the construct if you want to, but you don't really need to because you need to get extra utility in the from the Granganol. Since the construct was sent to the graveyard by card effect, aka fusion, it can trigger. So, but you want to get in the habit of making this Chainlink 1. So even if we don't have the field spell, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Squamata. Because Squamata is not really that necessary, really. But if you're trying to play around Ash, I would make this Chainlink 1, this Chainlink 2. The reason why is because this is going to get hit by Imperm Veiler no matter what. So it just depends what you're trying to play around. If you're trying to play around Ash, then make the Squamata Chainlink one. If you're trying to just, I don't know, play around maybe a Ghost Mourner, then make this Chainlink one. It just depends. It boils down to what you're trying to play around. But I already announced it 1-2. I would go and probably just go ahead and do the, well, no. Yeah, I'd go the Falco, Foolish to Falco. And then obviously the Granganol. We Foolish Falco off Squam. And then we will go and Foolish off of Granganol. There's a couple good reasons to send the Falco off of the Squam. First, obviously being it can turn itself into the Squamata for a pop if need be, flipped, because it can bring a Squam back or it can bring the Hedgehog back to search. Or, and it's also good to chain block your App Cologne, which is the one of the main reasons we use it, because here we're going to go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. So this gets chain blocked from Ash, Bell, and everything else. Skullmeister, if someone's playing that right now, it's just chain blocked. So this will reset, and then the App Cologne will resolve to get the Schism. Now, I will link this away just to get it in Graveyard, like I said, to play around those pesty people who play like evening match and stuff in the main deck, and to get us access to another Dark, so we're not forced to banish our main deck dolls if we don't want to. And then now we'll have to I forgot we had to discard off of Schism. I'll discard the Shaddoll Fusion because we can get access to it because now it's in Graveyard. Now you have a couple of options. Let's see. Set everything. And I know that sounds weird because now we have nothing in hand, but in phase, the Cartesia and Graveyard will add back to give us to give us Super Poly fodder because a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard. Granted, the Shadow's Light's in the graveyard, so you can banish it to normal summon again. But obviously we didn't have nothing, so keep that in mind. So you always got to check your graveyard. But we didn't have nothing else in hand, and we couldn't really get any further. But that right there shows, I'm kind of glad I drew that hand because it shows what you can get with a crappy hand. But one card can basically kind of still get you there, aka Foolish. So with that, we ended with a Call by the Grave, which is standard. Super Poly, which is just very good this format. And then a Winda or a Construct if worst case, and then this to banish to here. Honestly, like when you're using the Dust Dragon here, I would probably go Dust Dragon before I'd go Super Poly. The reason being is because if you can play around it, because Lulu Wallace is like, it's like alright, but like the Guiding Quinn will get you further, I feel, right now. So here, like, I'd go here, and in that, we'll Foolish her. And then what we'll do here is then, let's say when you activate Super Poly, you'll go Super Poly. Like, you don't even have to use your Schism yet. You can save it. Because you got to be careful around Ogre and stuff like that anyways. So you go Super Poly here, pitch, steal something. Let's just, I don't know. Say we make just for plot, Mud Dragon, not Gruul, because Gruul will be busted. Granted, this is busted too in like fire. But here we would go effect, target the Cartesia, summon the Cartesia back, and then here you can make a construct if you need to at worst case. So what you can do is, like, for an example, you go burn the Falco, you go effect. Let's say you're playing against fire and they're trying to use they're setting up their graveyard with level 1s. So here, oh shit, here, because I only have this here. Effect here, we need to chain block the construct. So chain link 1 construct, chain link 2 Falco to reset itself. Reset the Falco. Granted, we won't get the flip effect now if they attack into it. But we'll go construct effect. Construct. Then we'll like send Ariel to triple D.D. Crow. Granted, you'll probably would have shotgunned the Schism to prevent them from even getting that far, but you get what I'm saying. If you need to make a, like, whatever, it gives you more interaction on your opponent's turn. Like, if you wanted to send a beast to draw 1, you could do that and get an Upstart Goblin effect. If you wanted to send a dragon to pop a spell or trap, like if they set OSS or whatever, Original Sinful Spoils, before they could flip it, because it's not a quick play, obviously, you could send dragon to pop it and force him to go neg. There's a bunch of different interactions that Cartesia and all that gives you, basically. But yeah, and then you could just use the Schism or save it or whatever. But yeah, that's basically it for that combo. Let's go ahead and get into the next combo, guys, which I'm probably just going to go ahead and show you the Shadows Light combo. But let's go ahead and get that started. I'll see you guys over there. All right, guys, here we are. It's a standard 2-card combo. I'm going to show you what these 2 cards can give you, and it's actually really nice. So at first, we'll just start out with Alistair, your boy, going and grabbing the old reliable invocation. Okay. Now, what we can do is Shadows Light target, special summoning the Guiding Quim, wherever she may be in the deck. Guiding Quim effect, Foolish to Cartesia. Now we'll link this off into the Moon Maiden effect. Since a monster left the extra deck, you can target the Cartesia, summon herself. Now, Cartesia effect. We're going to synchro these 2. Into the Granganol. Granganol effect. We'll send the Abclone. Don't forget, it can also send Garua too, at worst case, to draw a card. If like you already drew like all your Shaddoll engine. Let's keep that in mind as well. So here we have a couple of options. Well, Shadow's Light's supposed to be in the graveyard, sorry. Let's see. We don't have any other cards in hand, but we will grab the Squamata. Then we have to pitch a Squamata. Then we will send the Windy effect. Set the Beast. Now what we can do is link off, like I've mentioned before, just to play around those pesky cards. Now we can go Invocation, banishing the Alistair, the Invoker, and then the Gravity Controller. If they were going to nib you, it's fine. We were still gassed out. To a degree, actually. If they were going to nib you, they would have already nibbed. And even if they try to nib you, then you still have the Shadow's Light Engrave, which I'll explain that in here in a second. We're going to make Kaliga because it's really good. Invocation, shuffle itself back, add the Alistair back from your banish pile. Now, you attempt to enter end phase here. If they would nib you, then it's perfectly fine. The reason why is because you could, because they have to nib you in main phase. So before, when you declare end phase, they say still in main phase because nib has to be used in main phase. They would nib you. They would only out these two because it only does face ups. And then you would just banish the Shadow's Light and normal summon Alistair, and then make a Makaba. So, and then you still have this in graveyard, and then Pot of Greed if they attack it. But yeah, that's basically it. That's what you get, and that's what you can get off of 2 cards, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, if you're going first, then you would have what, 3 other cards in hand, so you're just gassed. So yeah, it's really, really nasty. Now the last combo that I'm going to show you guys is the just 1 card in a Dear Servant playing through a heatwave. Let's go ahead and show that real quick, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. All right, guys, here we are at the 1 card combo. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, let's say we are going second. We forced Tempai to go first because their board is obviously weaker than when they go second because they just OTK you, even though they make up Black Rose, but still. They heat waved us. Oh man, I can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, but I can. Start out, they heat waved us. Man, it sucks. Main phase, Dear Servant. Okay. Send the Lulu Wallace. No. I messed it up. No, not Lulu Wallace. Getting ahead of myself. Send the Granganol. Okay. Add the Fleur de Lis. Seems weird? Yeah, but you'll make sense in a minute. Hold it in hand. Pass turn. They go to their turn. Okay? They summon. They use Red Dragon effect or whatever, or other dragon effect to summon themselves. On resolution, chain the Greganol since a monster was summoned via monster effect. Banish. Summon. Okay? What are we summoning? Alright. Summon the Quim. That's how I would do it. Quim effect. Foolish. Okay? This is always counted as a Dogmatika monster. They have something on the extra on the board. This can negate it. As long as they don't have access to the field spell, you're fine. Something leave. You can summon, negate. Someone leaves the extra deck. Summon. Now you have a board they're going to have to push through in order to kill you. That's if you don't have like Shaddolls, because if you had Shaddolls, you could set them and then they would get their flip effects, or you can fuse with them with this to get access to different things. So like for an example, this is just 1 card. If you had like a Squamata in hand, you could go this, and then Squamata, and you still had this in hand. You go effect, fuse, make construct off of with the Squamata and her. Okay, you make construct. Construct would foolish, and then the Squam would foolish or whatever, and then you get double foolish. Send aerial. I mean not aerial, but send windy, and then dragon. Dragon to pop the field spell, just so you can interact with this, and then the windy would summon the beast. Beast would get you additional draw too. Or you could set the Falco to be able to summon something back to make it harder, since they can't really push through all your board because your board will just keep replacing itself. The list goes on, but this is just what 1 card gets you through a heat wave, which there's not very many decks that can even really play through a heat wave. But the fact that we can still do something through a heat wave, it gives us a lot better of a play than a lot of other decks. So the sky's the limit. But that's basically what I was wanting to show you guys and tell you that that's just off 1 card. You have 4 other cards in hand that like could potentially help you get further. Definitely, if you have a Shaddoll monster in hand, then you're just lit. You're gassed, because you'll be able to deny them their board while building yours on their turn, just off of an Dear Servant, basically through a turn skip card. So again, there's not very many decks that can do that, and the fact that we can is just insane. But like I said before in the profile and previous profiles, through testing with Tempai, yeah, Tempai's a very strong deck, and it's a very powerful having the ability to be able to push an OTK. But honestly, Tempai is a very solid matchup for us because they let us go first, and their hand traps can only cover so much ground because a lot of our cards do the exact same stuff in the form of like being able to play into Ash, play into Imperm, and it forces them to draw the multiple Imperms or to time the Ash properly and hope that we don't have an extender in another form of another name, or we're just going to push right through it. Our deck is not like other decks and play into multiple different styles of hand traps. Our deck plays into the same hand traps: Ash, Imperm, Valor, all that, etc. So again, they just have to have it, or we're just going to keep playing. But that's it, guys, for this combo tutorial and discussion / test hand video. I hope you learned something from it. I know a lot of you all were saying that you're new to the deck or new to the game or coming back to the deck and wanted to see what the deck can do since you probably haven't played it since 2020. Well, this is it. I hope you learned something from it. If you think I missed something or left something out, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment sections down below. I love talking to you guys. I check the comments very frequently. Whenever I get if I get the notifications for it, I always try to talk to you guys and hit you guys up so you all are caught up on the information that I may have, or we can just talk back and forth on it. But that's enough rambling. I appreciate you so much if you've made it this far. Again, check the description for all the ways to support me. I love you guys so much. It's your boy Brendan, a.k.a. Drip from Team D.D. Signing out till next time. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.